In this demo, I'm going to show you how you can quickly and efficiently process invoices with FormStorm Invoices. So let us log in. The default username is admin, default password is admin51. This of course can be changed. And I'm going to ask FormStorm to create a brand new system. I'm going to give it a name, InvoiceDemo. And I'm going to request to use one of FormStorm's many ready-made systems. In our case being Invoices United States, because I'm going to process invoices from the United States. So I've got a list of fields here that I can choose from, some of which are already chosen as default. I can remove some selected fields or add some other fields. Some of the fields are header level fields and some of them are table fields. Okay, and I'm just going to go with the default here. I can add and remove fields or change field definitions later on at any stage. So I'm not worried about needing to make changes in the future. I'm just going to go to defaults and create and log in. Click on the setup tab down here. All these different tabs at the bottom refer to the different functionalities that FormStorm provides. The setup is where I do all the setup of the application before I actually start processing. Only needs to do it once, and in this case FormStorm has actually created everything that I need to do in the setup for me as part of the ready-made system. So I've got all the fields defined, and each of the fields has its own field properties automatically defined, and I can change them if I want, but let's just run with the default and see how it works. So now we're going to jump to the runtime and see how we use FormStorm to process invoices. The first step is obviously to capture some invoices. There's three ways in which I can capture invoices. I can scan them through a scanner, of course. I can bring them in through existing files that I've got as images, or I can have a hot folder where I ask FormStorm to poll a certain directory every few seconds and bring in any images that have been placed into this folder. I'm obviously going to go with the files options, and I'm going to select some ready-made images that I have, some sample invoices, so I'm going to bring them in. So FormStorm now imports these images into FormStorm, into the capture station. Okay, let's have a quick look at them. These are the 6 invoices that I've imported. The first one, the second, the third, the fourth. Notice the third and the fourth are from the same supplier. We'll see how FormStorm deals with it and how it's learning while it's processing. Then the 5th page and the 6th page. Okay, the 5th and 6th page are actually a 2-page invoice, but for now I can even assume that I don't know this fact. So there are 6 pages that I've imported, and I'm going to go queue the job. Queuing the job actually sends this as a batch to the queues. The queues tab down here. The queues really is the system administrator console. It's where the administrator can see everything that's happening in the system and manage everything that needs to be managed. Putting jobs on hold, moving them up in priority, running reports, anything they need to manage the operation. The next step is the OCR process. I'm going to click on the OCR tab. Normally the OCR is an automatic process that just works automatically with no manual intervention. In this case, being a demo, I've turned off the automatic scan queue, so it's just waiting for me to manually start it. So I'm going to click on next job to manually start the process. What FormStorm is actually doing now is it's loading the first page, and it's actually trying to match it to a template. In our case, this being a brand new system, there are no templates that have been created, so it's actually doing a full page OCR and using label searching to find all the particular data that I'm interested in based on the fields that I've requested to extract. I mean invoice number, invoice date, and all the line item fields, etc. Once it's found all the data that it can find automatically, FormStorm actually creates a template in the background and updates the template with particular areas on the image where it's found the data. The reason being is that in the future, if I get another invoice from the same supplier, FormStorm will use the template matching process where it can to get higher results of extraction and matching. So FormStorm has finished processing the 6 pages. I'm just going to quickly go through and show you. It has loaded the first page. It's found all the data that it can find, and at the end of it, it has actually created a template for page 1. It's done so for page 1. It has done so for page 2. It has created a template for page 3. For page 4, it actually has matched the template, that template being the one that was created for page 3, because as I showed you before, page 3 and 4 are similar invoices from the same supplier. If I quickly jump to the queues, I can see that this job has been OCR'd and is now waiting for verify. So the next stage is for a data entry operator, or as we call it, a verifier, to log in and to verify the data of the invoice. So the verifier would log in. The verifier would only have this tab available to them. They would see this screen. They would click on next job. The first screen they're presented with is the reordering screen. This reordering screen allows them to move pages around if they're in wrong order, or it also allows them to link pages together if the verifier knows that certain pages belong to the same invoice. In this particular case, FormStorm has actually managed to work out by itself that page 5 and 6 are of the same invoice, and that's why the white background here. So we've really got 5 invoices here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm just going to click on OK. Everything looks fine, and I'm going to start verifying. First field being the vendor name, which doesn't get picked up automatically because there is no vendor name label next to the vendor name. But all I need to do as a verifier is just highlight it, and it's captured. The other fields seem to have been picked up correctly, and I can just go through and check them. If for any reason the OCR was wrong, or that I typed something wrong, FormStorm will actually tell me that the line item does not match. The quantity times price must equal the total amount. So I'm going to go through and fix things, and now I can go through. FormStorm will actually stop on any field where there are characters that were not recognized properly by the OCR, so I need to fix them before I go on. I'm just going to press page down on the keyboard to let FormStorm find the next problematic field or the next page. And the next problematic field is the invoice amount, where there's one character that wasn't picked up correctly. If for some reason I've mistyped the character, FormStorm is actually telling me that this document is imbalanced. That meaning that all the line items don't add up to the invoice amount. So I actually need to fix it. Now all these checks and balances are checks and balances that are built into FormStorm, but you can actually add whatever other checks, balances, validations that you need just using simple scripts. So I think the invoice now should be balanced with the invoice amount equal to the total of the line items, and it's allowing me to go to page 2. Once again, the vendor name hasn't been picked up, so I'm going to select it. As we can see, it's not always perfect, and so in this case I would actually manually fix it. The invoice that hasn't been picked up for some reason, I can actually just click on it and it gets captured, and I can continue. Now here we've got a problem where the description field has been picked up incorrectly as the product column. So all I need to do is I need to click on the description field, and FormStorm actually fixes it through for all the fields in that column. Okay, and then I just continue with any of the fields that haven't been picked up. Everything else seems to be fine. I'm going to press page down, let it run through. The invoice amount has not been picked up because this invoice amount on this invoice does not have a label again. So all I need to do is click on it, get captured, and if the invoice is balanced, it will allow me to go on, which it does. Once again, I need to capture the vendor name. I can rubber band around the name, or even just click on it is enough. Everything else seems to be fine, and we'll go on to the next one. The next one, page 4, if you recall, it's an invoice by the same supplier as invoice 3, and you'll notice that it's actually picked up the vendor name. The reason for that is because on the previous page, I actually told it where the name is on this type of invoice, so that's the ongoing learning that's happening. So in this particular case, everything gets picked up nicely, and I can move on to page 5. Page 5, once again, okay, you can see that we need to fix the name. It's fine. Everything else seems to be fine, and I'm going to go quickly through the line items. Okay, now in most cases, as we've seen before, FormStorm will not allow you to go through to the next invoice if the invoice isn't perfectly extracted. If for example, the total for the invoice is not equal to the line items. In this particular case, FormStorm has allowed me to go to the next page because it knows that page 5 and 6 go together. So it allows me to move within the pages of a multi-page invoice so that I can find the appropriate fields. So in this example, first of all, we can see that there's a line item that has been picked up here which is actually incorrect. It's just picked up some of this data thinking it's a line item. All I need to do now is just click on this to tell it, please remove this line. So it blanks it all out. And then I need to go to the amount. Now, if the amount here again has been extracted correctly and all the line items have been extracted correctly, it will allow me to complete the process. Seems like everything is fine. And if I click on Save Changes, the data and images have now been exported out. If I click on the queue, I can see that the batch has been extracted out. Everything's fine. And if I go quickly and have a look in the invoice demo directory, there is the data.exp, which is where the data files are stored. In this particular case, I've chosen to extract as CSV and as XML. I can choose whichever way I want, or I can even extract it directly to a database. And also in the image.exp is where I export the images. Now, of course, the location of the exported data files and image files is something that I can actually define in the setup, so everything can be customized within FormStorm. You can see how quickly and easily I can actually extract data of invoices using the ready-made systems, and if needs be, I can go to the setup and I can make any of the changes, amendments, enhancements that I want. It's that simple. Thank you.